What's up, everybody? My name's Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel, and thank you so much for being here. If you enjoy this video, please hit the like button, and if you're new, please consider subscribing. More than half the people that watch my videos are not subscribed to the channel, so you should subscribe. Got a big giveaway coming up now that we've hit 1K. That'll be coming very soon. Just waiting on a couple of things to get here from a couple of different people who are donating to the giveaway, and it's going to be a good one. I'm excited for you guys on that one. With all that being said, welcome to episode 4 of Chopped, which is going to feature the Miguron Flix. Don't let that me missing it, steer you away from this knife. It has nothing to do with the knife. I got arthritis. If you don't know, I got arthritis in this knuckle, so sometimes it doesn't bend very well. And today's one of those days, so I can get to it most of the time, but I occasionally do miss it. But it's nothing to do with the knife. It's all me. So it's actually the fuller's very well done. Very grippy. It's sharp enough to where you get a good, it catches your finger good, but it doesn't hurt. So I actually really like this knife. This knife was sent in to me by Jerad Neeves from Neeves Knives, by the way. Thank you very much, Jerad, for sending this in. I will link everyone who sent something into this video in the description below. So his YouTube and Instagram will be down there, which if you're not following it, I don't know how you're not, but if you're not, you definitely should. So probably the most knowledgeable knife guy in the knife game, in my opinion. So thanks, Jerad, for letting me check this out. Okay, now the next version of this knife comes to me by my buddy Craig. His Instagram will be linked below also, and this knife was chopped by Blade Chops. I will link Blade Chops' Instagram below, and give all those guys a follow. They're really cool people, and great Instagram photos, and lots of knowledge. So all right, let's jump right into it. So drastic change on this one, guys. Drastic change. A lot of length off the butt of the knife, and quite a bit of metal taken out of the blade, and it was reshaped to a sheep's foot blade, which I really like the sheep's foot blade on this knife, especially shrunk down like this. I think it looks really good. He did go with a stonewash finish on the blade over the satin. Fingerprint magnet, not a fingerprint magnet, right? And this is going to be a user knife for Craig, so satin finish is beautiful when it looks like this, but as you use it, it will get scratched up and marked up, and yeah, it's just if you're going to use it, stonewash is the way to go in my opinion. So I really like a stonewash finish on a blade, but this is a beautiful satin finish on this blade, so I really like the satin finish also. All right, first thing we're going to do is take some measurements, and then we're going to check the weight, because I have a feeling we lost quite a bit of weight on this knife. Let's see how much length we lost, and then we'll check the weight. All right, the original knife is, let me do it this way, I think it'll work better, 8 5/16 inches. So quite a bit longer than this one. This one is just under 7 inches, or right at 7 inches, like 6 15/16 or 7. Pretty close to 7, I would say. Blade length is 3.5 inches, and the new blade length is 3 7/8, 3 15/16, so probably 2.9, just under that 3-inch mark. So if you're in one of those 3-inch states, you'll be good to go with a chopped one like this. I gotta say for sure, I prefer this blade shape, the sheep's foot blade, over this drop point blade, in my opinion. By the way, this has a Neeves Knives edge on it, so it does not come from the factory with that edge. Yeah. Let's check the weight real quick, because I think that's going to be a big difference. I can feel it in my hand. There's quite a bit of weight taken off this knife. Come on, scales. What you doing? All right, there we go. All right, the original weight, 4.9. Ooh, let me zero those out again. All right, the original weight, 4.7. Check it one more time. 4.7 ounces. And the chopped weight, 3.7. Yeah, so it took an entire ounce off of this knife. which is very noticeable in hand. Doesn't sound like much, but you can definitely feel the weight loss just holding these two. Also, got a different pocket clip on it. This Flix now has the same pocket clip that was used on the Capara that was chopped. The reason for that is, if you look at this pocket clip screws, one of them's going, looks like it's going into the backspacer. The other one is not. But when you look at how thick this clip is compared to this clip, these screws would not be able to be reused, because if you reuse those screws on this knife, they would be going through to where the blade is at and make contact, especially with that being a sheep's foot blade now. They would be down there by the blade. So I'm sure they swapped out the clip, and he had to re-tap these, obviously drill new holes and tap them. Swapped out the clip because the old screws would just not work with where the blade lands now inside the scales. So yeah, and I like this clip. This is a very good clip that he uses. So no backspacer now. There's now just a sleeve back there, or a standoff, and I'm pretty sure that this came out of this knife. There's a sleeve running in through the backspacer, and pretty sure he just took one of those out and reused it in here to give it the support it needed. Man, I tell you, man, it does such good work. You look at these edges on these liners and this carbon fiber. It's done so well. You'd never know it didn't come from the factory like this. This is a same screw hole, I think. Yes. So that screw was just reused. So you can see right there where the knife got chopped. And he also rounded out this end, which actually makes it feel really good in hand. You still have that forward finger choil there, same as this one. Check some ergos here. The ergos are pretty much the same. They really are, because these clips, although they're very similar in their width and how flat they are, they both just vanish into your hand. You don't even realize they're there. Yeah, the ergos are pretty much the same. The weight is very noticeable, the weight, how much lighter weight this knife is. And then for me, with a medium-sized hand, you see how much I've got sticking out here? And, you know, I think for me, yeah, I prefer this smaller knife just because of my hand size. There's nothing ergonomic. There's no bad ergos on either one. There's no hot spots on either one. They both feel great in hand. But for me personally, this feels much better in my hand than having all this there. And I think a lot of it has to do with the weight also. I just notice how much lighter weight this feels. It feels really good. So I'm going to give the ergos to the chopped version only because of my hand size. If you got an extra large hand, you probably prefer the ergos on this. It's not really an ergo change. It would probably just feel better in your hand, because if you're back here, I can barely get 4 fingers on there. Well, not barely. I got 4 fingers on there easily. But at the forward finger choil, you know, I've got quite a bit back there. So, and on this one, obviously, back here, I got quite a bit sticking out. Up here in the forward finger choil, you got 1.5 inches sticking out. So it's just a hand size thing for me. I prefer the chopped version. Now let's check the action. Has the action changed? The blade does not drop as quickly on the chopped version. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with the extra weight in the blade on the regular version. It's going to pull it down a little faster. And it may also have something to do with the stonewash too. This may have to break in again since he stonewashed that blade. I'm not sure if it's stonewashed in there around the pivot or not. I would assume it is, just stonewash the entire thing. Yeah, the action feels the same, except on the close. Actually, on the open, because of how much lighter weight the blade is, the bigger one definitely comes out quicker. Because once it breaks that detent, it has more momentum because of the length of that blade, the weight of that blade. This one comes out just fine, but I think this one fires a little harder because of that additional weight. and it also drops a little better because of that additional weight. But the action pretty much feels the same. It's just a yeah, the action pretty much feels the same on these knives. The detents feel, I mean, nothing's changed on the detent. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know which one I'd pick. I do think the satin looks better, but only when it's clean. Man, which one would I pick? If I bought this knife, would I have it chopped? I think I would have it chopped, primarily for one reason. Well, two reasons. The weight, three reasons. The weight reduction is very noticeable, and it feels much better for me in hand. The blade shape change, I definitely prefers the sheep's foot blade over the drop point, or the the drop point blade. And and honestly, it just feels better in my hand because of the size. It really does just feel better in my hand. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, man. This is such good work. Try to pick out something wrong, and I can't really find anything. It all looks like it came from the factory like this. If you didn't know that this knife was this knife, you would think it was just a different model. I think the stonewash with the logo on the blade, that's kind of noticeable, right? So you notice that was there. It'd been cool if there was a way to remove that and then stonewash it, but yeah, I'm picking the chopped version again. And again, I'm picking that just as a personal preference. And I'm not saying it's better than this knife, because this knife is this knife. This knife was made on this platform. Just for my hand size, a medium-sized hand, this is a much better knife. And the blade shape. Love a sheep's foot blade. Not the biggest fan of drop point blades, personally, but I don't hate them or anything. I just prefer the sheep's foot blade. And the pocket clips are very similar, although they have been changed. The shape of them, everything, very similar. Plus, this longer clip would not look right on this knife. It would come down to the bolster pretty much, and that wouldn't work out very well. So, yeah, very cool, very cool. I'm going to go with the chopped version again, but that's just my personal preference. Just because this is a large knife, larger than I would really want to carry, honestly. So, if I bought one of these, I think I would have it chopped. I think I'd keep the satin finish, though, just because with this look, I think it matches better. Although this matches the pocket clip better, so I don't know. That doesn't matter, though, just the looks of it. But yeah, I think I'd pick the chopped. The weight reduction and the blade shape change, I prefer it. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any knives that you've chopped, comment below what they are and who did your chop. I'd love to know if there's other people out there doing this. I'd like to follow them on Instagram and see their work also. If you have any chopped knives that you'd be interested to send in to have a comparison video made, let me know, comment below, or DM me on Instagram, and I'd love to check some more out. Like I do have a smock coming and a mini buster coming that have been chopped to do videos with. I'm looking very forward to those, especially the mini buster. I'm really excited to see what Blade Chops did with the mini buster, so that's going to be an awesome video. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.